But first, I wanted to talk about this one. This is a story that's actually close to me, so obviously I'm a bit biased. But a friend of mine's husband, her husband is a firefighter here in the Reedy Creek. Reedy Creek is the city that Disney's in. So that's the fire department that when they give a lot of funding and stuff to the fire departments and stuff like that, Reedy Creek always gets a lot because again it's in Disney, and if you think about it, it's I mean, there's so much property, there's so much, so whatever.
Well, it's like you said too, so that nobody ever dies there.
Right, exactly.
They get hurt in Reedy Creek.
Well, unfortunately, her husband got thyroid cancer, and let's just play the story. They're actually in this story.
On 6 tonight, diagnosed and denied. Area firefighters with 21 forms of cancer were promised benefits under new legislation. Well, now instead of help, they're getting denied.
News 6 investigator Mike Holfeld found some firefighters feel like the law is failing them.
Here we go, wild.
What color?
Paul Grasso and his family are caught in the politics of a cancer diagnosis. His.
Complete shock.
What would you do without it?
I would be lost.
Her husband is one of 9 known Central Florida firefighters diagnosed.
This is definitely not
9. So there's an exact correlation to a list of
this. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
a time to fail them.
Yet denied medical benefits.
It's not just an injury, it's cancer, which means that this isn't over.
Grasso is convinced his 13 years as a firefighter from Sumter County to Reedy Creek are linked to his diagnosis, thyroid cancer.
It's the profession that's causing this. We have the data, we know what's going on.
It gets absorbed into our skin, that nasty carcinogen, smoky soot.
As News 6 first reported, the environmental risks of the profession prompted best practice protocol.
Gonna hose him off rapidly.
For firefighters in Orange County and across the state.
And then get that gear off of us as fast as we can.
Practices not in place.
What about the many fires that I've been in?
When Grasso and thousands of first responders began their careers.
They have a moral obligation under this law.
Now I'm going to point something out here. Because I asked my friend, I asked her, I go, do you have a GoFundMe or something? She goes, no, we don't want, this isn't about money. So I go, we people have asked us to make a GoFundMe. We're not going to make a GoFundMe. We're suing so they change the law.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, GoFundMe has become one of these other ways where the government and insurance companies and all these other, they love GoFundMe because a lot of people just want to get through the thing. And if everybody else could just pick up the slack, they love that shit. They love GoFundMe because it's, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, we don't want to pay out this insurance premium. Once people get the treatment they need, they usually kind of settle down on their anger and forget. Like,
This-
so this is fucked.
This is kind of crazy. But watch this.
To provide benefits.
We're talking about Senate Bill 426, signed by Governor Rick DeSantis earlier this
Which
year.
was good.
It provides a broad mandate to provide firefighters medical coverage if diagnosed with 21 cancers, including thyroid cancer.
Which again,
Yes, we have a law,
good. That was a good thing that was passed. I think it should have been passed. But here's the thing.
but it's not being upheld.
Yet regarding Paul Grasso, a spokesperson for Reedy Creek telling News 6 this case does not meet the standard under the new law.
It gets even more fucked up.
Firefighters must have been employed by his or her employer for at least 5 continuous years to be eligible for benefits.
Here's the thing. 5 continuous years. But here's the thing. Here's how it works. When you go to a different city, you're in a new fire department. So if, let's say you're a firefighter in Lakeland, for example, and then you decide, oh, my wife got a job. I'm going to keep being a firefighter. She's got to move to another city. Instead of them saying, okay, but you've been a firefighter for all this time, they go, you start again. So they have to wait 5 years for them to be covered. And if you think about it, somebody else was talking about it. They go, that was some sort of fucking accountant or somebody there that goes, yeah, the bill will look good, but if we put this in here, it'll, help us out. So now they aren't required to cover it, even though there is a bill, because you have to be for 5 continuous years. Again, that's really completely unfair. And it's kind of fucked up, too, because like, if you're a police officer, for example, a lot of police departments will carry over your benefits. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a Metro Day police officer for 10 years and then you go to Broward County for another 20, after 30 years, you get your full 30 years worth of pension. And that's what they do. But unfortunately, with this thing, it's just like, no, it doesn't matter. You weren't here 5 continuous years. And again, I want to point out, they're not trying to extort Reedy Creek. Reedy Creek is one of the most well-funded fire departments in Florida because it is the fire department for Disney.
For Disney, and isn't it Windermere too?
Yes,
Like the fucking
all those
ultra
areas.
rich.
All the
so it's
so they
Disney
got
and
money.
the ultra rich people.
Right. And again, well, there's a little bit more.
Unfortunately, because of the way the law is drafted, there just are too many questions and loopholes.
Attorney Jeff Bickler is representing Grasso against Reedy Creek.
The law is just not clear.
He tells News 6, though well-intentioned, the law lacks remedies for the loopholes, which means lawsuits, appeals, and delays.
So this fight's far from over.
Oh, it's just beginning. This fight is just beginning.
And we're joining it. One of the big issues is who'll pay the benefit. This new law provides a one-time only cash benefit of $25,000. It's supposed to be an
$25,000 is 3 months worth of chemo.
$25,000 for your life. And that's not a lot of treatment.
alternative to workers' comp. Frankly, it's become a political issue, and we're in the fight.
So the challenge in so many of these cases, though, is proving that the cancer was actually caused by the job. Is there any evidence of that in these cases?
I looked into that. I was trying to figure that out. Scientific studies reviewed by the National Institute for Occupational Safety found cancer to be the second leading cause of deaths among firefighters today.
Oh, yeah. That's
now, Paul Grasso.
You don't even need a fucking scientific study. Yeah. I could tell you that from just knowing firefighters. That's one of the risks of the job that they know, like that's, you know, they know that going in. I know a lot of guys that are firefighters that know, this is putting me at risk. Like it's going to increase my risk of, and at the very least, they should take care of these guys. And no, I know people are going to give a shit because, well, you guys were against the 9/11 fund. Yeah, we were against funding it for another 90 years.
Yeah, of course.
For the same specific tragedy.
That
was a little weird.
The 9/11 fund was supposed to give money to the families for eternity, basically, for 100 years. This is the person.
Yes.
We were for giving the wife and the kid, help them out. We were for people that were hurt. There's firefighters that died of cancer because of 9/11. We're for, don't get me wrong.
I'm even for the government funding general medical help for firefighters for the next 90 years. But that was just for a couple guys in New York City. Right. We're going to give you money until 2090. And it's like, whoa, these are the guys that are going to fall through the cracks. Because what? Because he wasn't around during the right tragedy.
You were only here for 4.5 years, so we can't help you out.
And because he wasn't there for the right tragedy. It's like,
no, it's bullshit.
You only saved people in their regular homes.
Yeah, you didn't save people in Manhattan.
Beat it, stupid.
No,
and it's
that's crap.
Yeah.
It really is. And, it's obviously it's something that's, these are friends of mine, so it's something that's kind of personal to me. But even that being said, I was going to mention it, but then when I watched this story, I'm like, this is a big deal. This is thousands of firefighters that are going through this now in Florida because of this. And look, the intentions behind the law were good. I'm glad they were signed. But they have to be serving for 5 years. Why? You could get cancer in 3. You know what I mean? There's...
Well, and I'm sure the bulk of them do, and that's why they did it that way. They know what they're doing when they word things this way. It's to get out of the responsibility.